You're listening to the Public Health Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley. Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this episode. On this podcast, we explore topics that are of interest for professionals at the intersection of public health and entrepreneurship. My name is Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and I'm really excited that you've decided to join me on this episode. I'm a public health entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience in healthcare and in public health, and I've supported many entrepreneurs along the way. I've also been podcasting since 2017. So the topic for this episode I'm going to share with you, it's from my own real experience here recently, and it's about being more gracious with ourselves. So my definition of grace for the purpose of this episode, and just to be really clear, is what we think of as undeserved favor. Grace can't be earned. It's something that we're freely given. So setting a weekly intention to focus on and to as a point of focus and a way to serve as an important light to keep me on course, especially when everything around me seems to be just kind of spiraling out of control. Many of you are aware that I lost my stepson recently in a motorcycle accident, and that has been, it was tragic. We're still trying to figure out what our life is like now. It's very much real time, and I'm choosing to be really open about that because it's a real part of everything that I do. And as a part of this process a few weeks ago, I remember, as a practice for myself of setting a weekly intention, it goes way back, and it's really a way to help stay focused on and centered on something that can get you through the week. It's not the big goal for the month or the big goal for the quarter or even thinking about the goal for the year. It's just, how do we chop that down to something that I can stay focused on for a shorter period of time, like that sprint through the week, so to speak, and to help me stay focused and, not veering too far off one way or the other. So recently, I remember setting an intention that I just wanted to be more gracious with myself. And, we all have this tendency to be really mean to ourselves. We can have this mean self-talk sometimes when things are rough, or, if you don't hit a mark or something, it's like, oh, that was dumb, or why did I do that? Or we can be really, really hard on ourselves. If you listen to what you say to yourself, you'd be shocked sometimes that, because you don't allow other people to talk to you that way, but we can sometimes allow that to go on in our own minds. And we really have to be a lot faster at correcting that. So my intention for that week, and this was just a few weeks after my stepson's accident, I just remember thinking I need to be more gracious with myself, because I was starting to beat myself up about the things that weren't getting done and feeling really bad about that. So my intention was just to be more gracious with myself. I didn't have the energy to really move at all at sometimes, much less move quickly. My mind was foggy, in shock for a very long time after the accident, and life was just still happening all around us, but I was trying to figure out, what I needed to be doing and trying to keep up, if that makes any sense. I really hope that none of you has had to go through what we've been going through, but I do know that life happens and can catch us off guard and could really throw us for a loop sometimes. And we still have all these responsibilities, and sometimes we're struggling with what to do and how to keep going, right? So every time I felt overwhelmed, or this overwhelming feeling, or felt in a way that wasn't, air quotes, normal for me, I'd remind myself to just be more gracious, freely granting myself favor in a situation, in a moment, whether I believed I deserved it or not. It was really beyond, it's kind of beside the point. It didn't matter if I deserved it or not. I just decided that I was taking the pressure off of myself by simply reminding myself of that intention every time I felt overwhelmed. It's something that it was very simple, but I cannot tell you how many times, multiple times throughout that week, I found myself, first of all, I was catching the times that I was being a little too harsh on myself, kind of surprised at how often that was happening. But then also just reminding myself, that I was going to be more gracious, whether I believed I deserved it or not. And that's important because sometimes in those moments, it really might be all your fault. Maybe, you really did drop the ball. But I think it's just a matter of that true grace that just says it doesn't matter if it's your fault or not. I'm just going to take this pressure off of myself and remind myself of this being more gracious every time I felt overwhelmed. That's what I decided to do. And it was huge. It was a huge part of me getting through that week. I hope that in some way this is helpful for you. But like I said, life happens. I don't want anyone to have to experience the level of tragedy that we're trying to sort through right now. But I do know, like I said, that, these things happen. Life happens. Something will throw us for a loop, throw us off of our plan, our game, our schedule, our routine. And we can feel overwhelmed, especially as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. There's a lot of responsibility that we feel we just can't afford to stumble on. We have all this pressure. And sometimes in those moments, you just need to be more gracious with yourself. It really helped me. And I hope that it helps you as you navigate whatever tough season you may encounter. If you're doing great right now, this is wonderful. Maybe it's just something you can set aside for those moments when life catches you off guard and throws you off a little bit. Maybe that week you just decide that you're going to be more gracious with yourself, right? Well, I dive more deeply into topics like this in our private community. In fact, I record a video of my weekly intention and I share it in that community of our mastermind group. It's a way that adds a little bit of more accountability for me as well. I mean, it's great when my members, the mastermind members can enjoy that level of accountability by posting and sharing. But I think, for me, it's very helpful for me when I also share my weekly intention. It's a great mastermind group. And I hope that you are considering that if you haven't already. It's best suited for established public health entrepreneurs, but we work together online and also gather in person twice a year for a 2-day retreat. We've had entrepreneurs travel from all over the U.S. and beyond to attend our retreats. And I really hope that you'll seriously consider this for yourselves. Enrollment is only open twice a year in June and December, and only to people who have submitted an application. So please explore it and decide that if you think it's interesting and you'd like to explore it further, complete an application so that we can reach out to you during open enrollment time and make sure that all of your questions are answered and share even more details so that you can have the opportunity to join our community if you decide that it's a good fit. So our website is publichealthentrepreneurs.com, and you can find the links in the description of this episode as well. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for listening. Visit publichealthentrepreneurs.com to learn more.